Good afternoon. On behalf of Brenda Payne and the Hendersonville Area Chamber of Commerce, I would like to welcome you to our May Luncheon. Brenda is actually away this week, but she'll be back next week. My name's Lisa Byers, and I'm the chair of the Chamber Board. We're delighted to have you here for our State of the City Luncheon with Mayor Foster as our guest speaker. We also want to take a moment to thank our luncheon sponsor for today, Capstar Bank. I wanted to make a couple of announcements. The first is that today is May 6th, which means it is Election Day, yes. So Brenda asked that we would just give you a friendly reminder to make sure you vote today. The polls close at 7 o'clock this evening. We want to welcome not only all of you to our luncheon, but also a new member to the Chamber staff. Melissa Sanders is here. There she is. Can you give a wave, Melissa? Melissa, can you all welcome Melissa to the Chamber staff? Melissa will join us as office assistant at the Chamber. Allison Mundy will still be with the Chamber, but she's going to become a sales rep, membership sales rep. So thank you and welcome, Melissa. It's now time to bring up Steve Mills, who's Director of Building and Codes with the City of Hendersonville, and Steve will do our invocation and pledge.
Please stand and as we pray, let's remember our fire department who lost one of their own this past week, and just remember that family in your prayers. Dear Lord, we bow our heads right now and just thank you for the many, many blessings that you give us, not only in this community, but in this state, in this country. I just thank you for those blessings, because all good things come from you. Dear Lord, I just thank you for the men and women in this room that are interested in our community and want to hear what the mayor has to say about the state of our community. Dear Lord, I want to thank you for those business owners and that have invested in our community, and I just pray that that investment will come back to them manyfold. Again, I ask you to be with the family of the fire department employee that passed away. I ask you to be with the fire department. I ask you to just give them comfort and peace. Bless this food and nourish for our bodies, and our bodies to your service. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Steve. We would now like to welcome all of our new members who have joined or rejoined the Chamber since our last luncheon. I'll begin with At the Top Restoration, which is represented by Marcus Hadlock. We have B&T Business Services Incorporated, Cindy Loveday. Bloom Designer Finds, Ashley Steenhoven. Culver's of Hendersonville, Eric Johnson. Dawson's Sweet Cakes, Rhonda Copeland. Electronic Merchant Systems, Adrian Coluccio. Executive Office Suites of Hunt Club, Jenny Jeffrey. We have Fifth Third Bank, both East Main and Glenbrook, Dave Thomas. Frost Insurance Services, Inc., Kelly Frost. Jolly Ollie's Pizza, Delia Knight. Jordan Drake State Farm, that's Jordan Drake. Meridian Wellness Center, PLLC, Sandra Pathwa. The Nashville Predators, Christopher Gray. Neighbors Cove, Jody Myers, Renewal by Anderson Nashville, Billy Alberts, and The Ruffled Nest, Stacy Landry. Please welcome our new members. We would now like to recognize any elected official that has joined us today. If you're an elected official, please stand up so that you may introduce yourself. Wonderful. And Hold on. Don't sit down. Don, come on, back up. We're going to go around. Just if you could introduce yourself real quick. Thank you. Sorry. We're going to go. Any other elected official? Thank you. Thank you for being with us today. Now we'll invite Gina Scott up to introduce our speaker. Gina is the Senior Vice President with Pinnacle Financial Partners, and she is our chair-elect. Please welcome Gina Scott.
Hello, everyone. Well, most of you know that Scott Foster has been our mayor of Hendersonville since 2004. And you probably have heard his bio, so I wanted to share some things about Scott that you may not know. So we're going to do something a little different today. Did you know that his back squat max is 485 pounds? He is certified as a level 1 kids trainer for CrossFit and runs the Kids and Teens program at Shackle Island CrossFit with his wife Amanda and their good friend Morella Cruz. He was a professional fisherman after college. I had no idea. And is thrilled that his youngest son, Blaze, enjoys fishing as much as he does. So you can find them on the lake almost every weekend. Next year, Blaze will be a freshman and Cody a senior at HHS. And between football season and soccer season, Scott and Amanda spend most of their year attending games. Outside of spending time with his boys and his wife, his favorite time of week is Friday morning when he joins his men's devotional group. They're an important piece of the puzzle that keep him calm during the storms of the job. Please help me welcome Scott Foster.
Wow, that was a little different. But that's a great thing. Guys, I'm so glad that you're here today. If I get away from this microphone, remind me to come back to it. Don Clausen loves me because I'm going to dance around up here and make him have to move his video monitor a little bit. There are such great things happening in Hendersonville. How many of you follow me either on Twitter or Facebook? If you don't, by the end of this thing, I hope you do. It's the best way for me to get information out to you quickly. Some of the best things are happening. I'm going to go through some numbers today, and at the end of the day, we're going to have a little quiz. So y'all watch the numbers as we go, okay? All right, my team put this slideshow together. I think there's 172 slides or something like that. So I'll be moving pretty quickly and pretty fast. Bam! Bam! That's me when I had hair. That's the way I start most of the good news that we tweet out or we Facebook out, and I hope you'll follow us. I hope you get today's paper. David Gould, where are you? David Gould today in the Hendersonville Standard, front page, top reasons I love Hendersonville. Written by this fantastically gorgeous woman named Amanda Foster. But there's a contest that goes with this. At the end of the day, grab this paper, join the contest. I think the prize is a $25 dinner at one of my favorite places, Our Place Cafe. Buns or rolls, cornbread or rolls. You guys join in and see that. I'm really about to load you guys down with some information. It's unbelievable what's going on in town. It's exciting. I'm not going to brag about us, the city, or you. I'm going to let others brag about our community. What Proverbs says is, let another man praise thee and not thy own mouth. So I'm not here to be braggadocious about what we've done. I'm here to be braggadocious about our city and what other folks think. I know you can't see this, but I'm going to run through them real quick. Top 10 cities in America for families. That was from Family Circle magazine. Top 10 best cities for business in Tennessee. We actually got that in 11 and 12, and we think we're going to get it 13. That's from the Beacon Center of Tennessee. CNN Money says one of the top 100 cities in America to live in. Google lost Hendersonville as the E-city for the state of Tennessee. You've heard about the 100 gigabit fiber coming to Nashville and what a big deal that would be. Google recognizes us, so we hope to be on that bandwagon. Top 10 best towns in Tennessee for young families from that famous entity called NerdWallet. 10 best small cities to retire to in America. How many of you think of us as a retirement community? Low taxes makes us one of the top 10 cities in America to move to. America's best small cities to move to. We just recently got that. Top 10 safest places in Tennessee. Our PD's doing a phenomenal job. We're recognized. Just a little bit about the city from a monetary standpoint. We're a decent-sized corporation. We've got about 400 employees. We do about $40 million worth of business a year. And our fund balance right now is very, very strong at $5.5 million. I'm here to tell you the state of Hendersonville is actually phenomenal. Phenomenal. It's not good. It's great. And it's because of you folks. Before I get too much further, I want to introduce you to some folks. I am so proud to introduce. How many of you know how old the city is? You were born in 1969. How old are you? 45, right? 45-year-old city. We're a relatively young city. What's interesting, though, city employees, stand up, please. I want y'all to meet your city employees. There are some young faces in here. A couple of them started with us when they were 3 years old. A couple of them didn't. Before you leave today, I want you to make sure to shake Jamie Steele's hand. He's our fire chief. Phenomenal guy, retiring at the end of this year. Shake his hand. We've got others in here with 40 plus years of service to this good city. These guys are the team of choice. I'll put them up against anybody in the southeast region, certainly. Maybe in the world. Just a couple. I know this is a pie chart, you can't see it all. Can you see the red right here? Firemen. Blue, policemen. This is our breakout of our budget. Do you see where most of our budget goes to? Firemen and policemen to keep you safe. They're doing a wonderful job. Revenue sources. This chamber has done a phenomenal job of getting you to shop local. And we'll speak more about that. But if you can't find a mattress or a tire, man, you're looking in the wrong place. If you can't get your drugs at the pharmacy, wrong place. If you don't have 7 banker friends that want your business, wrong place. You can buy it here, get it here. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on sort of globally. Get your bearings here. I'm going to try to use this fancy laser. This road right here is called the bypass. It's called a lot of other things that are not very nice. It needs to be widened. We all know that. But this is north of the bypass. See all these yellow blocks? Big farms, recently reapproved for development. I don't know. I know you can't see this, but see right here? That's a hashtag we use all the time. How many people know what hashtags are? I know you do. We don't use them the way they're supposed to be used. We just throw up hashtags that don't make a lot of sense. But the one you'll see on most of my posts is either Hville rocks or great things are happening in Hville. And it's fun what's going on. This is residential development. Up here, this is the high-tech version of this slideshow. This is the low-tech version. For those of you that didn't bring your glasses or want to reach out and touch, low-tech version's over here, high-tech. This is over 2,000 residential homes approved in Hendersonville in about the last 90 days. So growth is coming. How many of you know that Nashville is the it city? Do you follow what's going on in Nashville? We are the Dallas of the 80s. In the 80s, Dallas had this show and they became world known. I got off a plane in Beijing a couple of months ago, left the airport in Beijing, China, and there's a billboard that says, Nashville, the show. What? What? Nashville is slated to grow by 1 million people by 2035. There's not that much room in Nashville. There's not that much room in Hendersonville. But between Nashville, Hendersonville, Brentwood, Franklin, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, we're going to grow to be about the size of the Denver metro area. That's frightening. And there's a lot of things that have to be done. But we're certainly moving that way. 2,516 rooftops. The Millstone Farm, that's out off of Saundersville Road, across from the golf course, 614 lots. That's what it looks like. Durham Farm, out Drakes Creek Road. The Streets of Indian Lake is down here on the bottom. Here's the Streets of Indian Lake in its infancy. There's the movie theater. That is the entire street product right there, about 40 acres. Look how big this is. It goes from the 5-point intersection of Drakes Creek Road, Anderson Lane, to Long Hollow Pike. Big project. That's what it looks like. Streets of Indian Lake again, Saundersville Road, rolling out through this way. That was Wyndham Professionals right there. Bridgemill is a new product right there. Townhomes right in the center. I don't think it's on this slide, but we approved the other night behind the movie theater. There's a big apartment complex that just sold for $60 million that's there. We just approved Ashcrest for Tennessee Home Sites, which is behind there, with about 120 new lots. That's what Bridgemill looks like. Single family permits. We peaked in 2005 at about 550. Last year we hit 238, and we're on a steady rise. How many lots did I tell you we had approved already? 2? 3? 2,516. Hey, you get a smiley face. This is average family price for building permits, which some builders don't actually tell us what the real value of the house is. So it's a little off. You take the land cost out. Average building permit pool is about $141,000. What do you want? How many of you think we're ready for a pro football team? Are we ready for a pro NBA team? Everybody raise your hands that's for that. Okay. How would you like a Whole Foods? How would you like a Cheesecake Factory? How would you like a P.F. Chang's? How would you like a Trader Joe's? If you follow me on Facebook, I've answered this question 90,000 times. The odds of us getting a Whole Foods, a P.F. Chang's, a Trader Joe's, or a Cheesecake Factory are the same odds as us getting a Titans team. And I want you guys to know that. Because every time I post something new on Facebook, well, isn't it a great place for a Whole Foods? Down here at the bottom, you can't see it, but Whole Foods requires a median household income of $90,000. We're not near that. But more importantly, a Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, P.F. Chang's, and Cheesecake all require 200,000 people in a 3-mile radius. How many people do we have in our county? About 163,000, something like that. That's in our county. It's 29 miles long within a 3-mile radius. So when people say, I don't understand why we don't have a Whole Foods, you know the answer. We don't have that kind of density. Who does have that kind of density? Green Hills? How many of you like the traffic in Green Hills? You know, there's a trade-off there. But you now know the answer. Don't anybody ask me why we don't have a Trader Joe's. Now, the next part of that is there's a downside. There's a B-team market. Fresh Market, Sprouts, Earth Fare are all Whole Foods type. All 3 of them are looking at town right now. We need an organic market. I hear it. We're chasing it, going after it. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in town. A lot of people beat me up about the streets of Indian Lake. That's just a place where growth is happening. The nice part about the streets of Indian Lake is it's brought a lot of national attention to the city of Hendersonville. And you're seeing things happen in town. I've told you guys this. Last year I talked and I told you, Taco Bell tore down on Main Street, rebuilt. McDonald's tore down on Main Street, rebuilt. Hardee's refaced Hardee's. Main Street's getting a new speedway. Olympic Construction. I saw Raymond here earlier. Raymond's in the back. One of our chamber members is building this speedway. How many of you like what Kevin Collier did to the bank on Main Street? Is that not a phenomenal change? Great thing happened. Do you recognize this picture here? It's a jail somewhere over in Rocky Mountain, Tennessee. Or it's our old Kmart. It is our old Kmart, in fact. That's the old Kmart. LA Fitness is going in the end of that building. That building has submitted, and they're going to reface that building. And this is the layout of Kmart. Out here is the Kmart, the Burger King, and y'all have to bear with me for a minute. I've got my favorite sayings here. Got the Mexican Pizza Hut right here, the Tilted Applebee's right here, the Mexican Shoney's right here. Beside the Mexican Pizza Hut, we have Waffle House coming in, right? Guess what we got coming in beside Waffle House? A new tire store. Now keep in mind, I don't chase tire stores or mattress stores. It's zone commercial. So once the zone is in place, the owner can sell it to whoever he wants. I can't, if you want to sell your house, I can't tell you can't sell it to a Marshall. It doesn't work. The Waffle House, good looking Waffle House coming in there, tire store across the street, Krispy Kreme donuts. This is sort of a cyclical issue here. Where Krispy Kreme comes in, it's always amazing that another fitness center comes in. Really? You think they're sharing clientele? We've seen letters of intent on Marshalls. We've seen letters of intent on Sprouts, but Sprouts announced last week they're not making much growth this year, so I'm not sure what's going to happen there. That's what Krispy Kreme is going to look like in front of Publix. This building here also is a training camp for something. That's actually the old Food Line building over in the old Walmart Center. It's called Hazel Path Commons. Planet Fitness is going in there. So for the first time in 10 years, we've had movement on the old Walmart Center. There's the new sign that they're about to build in front of Hazel Path Commons. You got the good-looking Sears dent and scratch outfit, and Planet Fitness is on that sign. Talk a little bit about Dr. Phillips in here, but Don is here. The growth is not just residential and commercial. The growth is also in our school system. We broke ground 3 weeks ago on a new, let me make sure I got my number right, $8.5 million expansion of Hendersonville High School. $8.5 million. I think there's 17 classrooms. They're reorienting the building where the administrative offices are. That's a phenomenal project. That's $8.5 million. Go over behind Corvu, commercial, back to commercial, back to commercial. Pads poured, Hobby Lobby's coming in. Okay? You can't see it from in the back, but come up here and look at it. It's the new Hobby Lobby. They're coming up and out of the ground. Big win. Fairfield Suites, a Marriott product. As you're looking at Sam's, just to the right of Sam's, all the way back, even with the face of Sam's, is a new Fairfield Inn. It's going in right now. Culver's beside Mimi's. Yes, Mimi's is gone. Mimi's is gone because they didn't have enough traffic. They still have 26 years left on their lease. And as soon as their lease gets worked out with Inland, the owner of the shopping center, we probably can fill that building. Culver's is going right beside. How many of you have ever heard of Culver's?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. That boy has been to a Culver's. I can tell you. Great cheeseburgers, great fries, and something we don't have much down here, but great frozen custard. Of course, they also got these things called cheese curds. I don't know what those are yet. You know what the difference between custard and yogurt is? Eggs. I did not know that, but I found that out the hard way. Out in the streets, we're seeing some office development. Optimec, a locally owned electrical mechanical firm, built a 20,000 square foot office across from the library. That's one of those lots out there. Beside them, closer to Park Plaza 1, a group called Mid-10 Office. Mid-10 Office is about 15,000 square foot. They're a wholesale buyer for groceries. Very clean bunch. Dr. Moats. Is Dr. Moats here? It's too bad. I leave him out every time, but we included Dr. Moats. He's building a surgery center beside Park Plaza 1. All these are coming out of the ground. The Crossings down there in the building with China Buffet to Witch Witch, Blue Coast Burrito to Huntington Learning Center. There'll be 2 more buildings down there. Most of those look like they're going to be office retail, primarily medical office. I don't know why doctors have decided they want to be on Main Street, but we've got a lot of doctors that have decided they want to be on Main Street. A little bit going on out in the streets of Indian Lake. I won't go too much into that. There's too much there to show you, but it's all exciting. Let's talk about Glenbrook. Move to the other side of town. Glenbrook, the old Ethan Allen building. Tennessee Homesite guys bought it up, and they're loading her up right now. Beliza, Lois Wheeler, Tim Wheeler's wife, who worked at Rodale's, is opening her own spa in the Ethan Allen building. That side of town, too, New Shackle Island Road. Guess what? Another new donut place. Now, that new donut place must go with Planet Fitness in the old Walmart. Novita. Guys from Novita here? Good. I can make up whatever story I want to make up. Novita is a homegrown company. They used to do they still do the backup sensors for GM products. If you got a Cadillac, you throw it in reverse, beep, 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 you're going to hit something, right? They sold that same technology to Chrysler on the side view mirrors. You click I know you guys don't do this because I drive behind you, but if you put your blinker on, that means you're turning left or turning right. It's weird for people in the South. I get it. I'm one of them. But when you click that blinker on, you flash it in the mirror. That same sensor that's in a GM bumper is in the mirror, and it's a blind spot protector. It tells you if something's in the blind spot or not. Those guys won that contract with Chrysler. This last year, they won a contract with Ford to do the LED headlights and taillights of the new Ford. In order to do that, they moved over behind Witt's Barbecue on Old Shackle Island into a little building that nobody knew was there except for the 7 companies that were in that building. All on a month-to-month lease, and all had to get out. We relocated all 7 of them here in town. Masters Gymnastics, probably one you've heard of. 31 years Masters had been there. They moved out to Avondale Industrial Park. They couldn't talk to me for a month because they were so angry. Now that they've reopened and expanded, they're so excited. It's one of those, I hated you so bad, but it's been the best thing that ever happened to us. Same thing, how many people recognize this building? Show Lodge. One of the bigger commercial sales lately, a group called Accelerated Christian Education purchased that building. They're moving about 120 people from Dallas, Texas to Hendersonville. They've got about 100,000 square foot distribution center that they're going to move with it, we hope. Not exactly right, but sort of think about the Baptist Sunday School Board. This is sort of the Christian, the Church of Christ version of the Sunday School Board. They distribute materials for Christian education to 489 countries. Big deal for Hendersonville. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening with wildlife. See that 10-point buck right there? He lives back on the Indian Lake Peninsula. He and about 400 other deer. We've started a study of how we're going to handle our deer herd. We call it the urban deer herd. You don't have to tell me. I don't know. I don't care how you feel. It's sort of like cats. You either love them or you hate them. Your neighbors feed them and you're shooting them. It's a problem. It's a problem. That's literally a 10-point buck standing on the road. Luckily, it crossed right at the deer crossing sign. I can't get the ducks to do that out on Main Street. And then that's my boy right there. He's catching river monsters. That's a 35-pound strike we caught out on Old Hickory Lake. This is an awesome place to eat, work, sleep, and play. And if you guys get a chance, put on your calendars next year, last week. I want you to put last week on next year's calendar. I don't know how to say that right. We had the National Day of Prayer. The Community Pastors Association put on a prayer meeting. It maybe had 300 people there. There should have been 2,000 there. It was a phenomenal day of prayer. Our city's growing, our retail's growing, our residential's growing, our schools are growing. Guess what else is growing? Our churches are growing. And that's awesome. It's awesome. And when you were the Community Pastors Association, it's like 15 guys from all different affiliations of churches. They talk about the number of seats they need to fill or they need to build to fill. That's what makes Hendersonville what it is. We're so very blessed here. I just want you to sort of reach out and think about that. Sales tax numbers going up. 41 million and 9 million in 2013, 9.8 million in property taxes. I guess the important part on this slide is the number of business licenses. In the last 4 years, we've added 500 businesses to Hendersonville. You know, when you eat, work, sleep, and play here, you'll see those 500 businesses. You just got to go out and find them. And think about this. In the last couple of years, $3.6 billion of retail sales. You guys are shopping here. You know what that helps do? Helps keep your taxes low and it makes our schools better instead of Davidson County schools. Because we used to all shop at Rivergate. Now some of you still shop at Green Hills. I know we don't have a good looking shoe store or any of that kind of stuff. We still need shoe stores. We still need some young men's stuff, right, Carter? Carter says yes. Carter's here. Carter Montecassel. Hey, y'all met. Stand up, Carter. This isn't one of my boys. This is one of J.G. Montecassel's boys. So he's an employee at the UPS store down by Kroger. Carter has been to all 10 of my state and city addresses since I've been mayor. So, way to go, Carter. I I need a little help. We're having a little concert. Some of my friends in the PD is putting on a concert June the 10th. You know who this guy is? He's a good friend, Gary Allen. He used to do hot yoga with me when I was really thin. Carl Davis is in here. I saw Carl. Where's Carl? Yeah, Carl and I used to do hot yoga with this guy. World-renowned artist. He and a couple of young startups, and I can tell you that it's growing faster than we can actually reach out and touch now. A lot of other artists are signing on. But this is going to be Dollar General sponsoring it. It's going to be over at the Hendersonville Expo Center. How many of you know where the Expo Center is? The old Globe building, the old Nauline building. Somebody called it the Beirut building because it looked like the sheet walls had been blown off of it. We put together a concert. The Expo Center is giving us the space. Gary Allen and his friends are giving us the time with the ultimate goal of raising money for a new paddock, a new barn, for our horses, for our mounted patrol, for HPD. So this is a great way, $30 for a ticket, come see some real live entertainment here at home. A great way for HPD to build a barn. Let's talk about where that would be. I don't think I've got a digital shot of it, but there's a picture over here that shows Knox-Dawson Grace Creek School. You know where that is? We're past the streets of Indian Lake, over the bypass, down about a mile on the right. We bought 80 acres. We sold 30 up to the school board. They built a middle school, Knox-Dawson Grace Creek Middle School. By opening of 15, they'll have an elementary school, a new elementary school over there, $13 million elementary school. In front of that elementary school, we're going to try to build some soccer fields, maybe a lacrosse field, and we're going to put a horse barn over there. So that's all good news. I want to talk about some other things. I've just showed you in that quick slideshow. Outside of residential, we've got about $100 million of construction approved for Hendersonville. There's probably another 60 in the pipeline for the city of Hendersonville. Regina Barber, where's Regina? Hendersonville Medical Center. Regina is doing a phenomenal job as CEO over there. They're about to pull off a $33 million expansion of the Hendersonville Medical Center. Now, Regina reminds me all the time that she didn't have the check yet, but she's working very hard to expand the hospital. As you well know, or maybe don't, the piece of property that runs along the bypass opposite of Glenbrook, 42 acres. It's been called 18 different developments. Hendersonville Medical Center purchased it. It's for sale. And if you've got a CEO, a CFO, anybody that's top notch at any company like Dollar General, I'd love to get them out on the lake for a day or out on the golf course for a day, and we'd love to land at corporate headquarters right beside Regina's hospital. Big time. You guys understand, I sort of said this jokingly, we don't go after tire stores, we don't go after mattress stores, we don't go after drug stores. For about 5 years, all of our focus has been on corporate headquarters. If you remember the tilted Applebee's and the Mexican show, 10 years ago, that's all that was here, other than the Black Eyed Peas, which they're in here too. I see her over there. That was all that was here. We've got 39 new restaurants. Guess what we need? A lunch crowd. Guess where lunch crowds come from? Corporate headquarters. So our focus has totally been on corporate headquarters. Regina's got $33 million worth of work. Now, where's Dr. Faulkner? I saw him in here. Dr. Faulkner just opened at Ball State a Health Science Center. $10 million. He's halfway through fundraising on his portion of a state match for a new humanities building that Ball State will build. $30 million. So you got, Dr. Faulkner's got $40 million himself coming out. I didn't see Tom Ashley here, but I did see Joe Rewa. Where's Joe? Hendersonville Utility District coming along with us. When you add people and you add jobs, what do you have to add? Utilities, right? Joe tells me they're about 85% through of the new water treatment plant over behind Harbortown here in the heart of Hendersonville. $26 million project to make sure we've got water. Guess what Franklin doesn't have? Water. Guess what Brentwood really doesn't have? Water. That's going to become more and more and more and more and more important. All total, we've talked about a little over $200 million worth of growth, worth of expansion here in Hendersonville. I challenge every mayor that I see in Tennessee to tell me that they've got things better than I've got it. And they're shocked. They're shot. And then you see these 10 national awards that we won over the last 3 years. I'm telling you guys, I'm blessed to be your mayor. Just so very blessed. I love the city. You can see it. How many of you knew that 4 years ago, last week, was the flood? Man, that seems like for forever and ever. But you saw how this community came together in the flood, right? Same way with the tornadoes. We came together during tornadoes. I love the city, and there's great things happening. I'm going to stop there. I've got a million other things I can talk to you about, but you guys have questions? You have questions?
When you go get Whole Foods,
That's exactly what happens every time I post something. Planet Fitness is coming to the old food line. It's not. Thank goodness we're getting something in a 10-year-old shopping center. That would have been a great place for Whole Foods. Help me with that. Help me with that. What else you got? Come on. I'm wide open. Fire away.
the residential component at Streets of Indian Lake, when do you envision that coming down the ground?
Well, the guy in charge of it sitting with you, man. We've seen the plans, we've seen the prototypes. They all look just fantastic. I think we've got one more reading to go through. We've got a public hearing and a reading to go through. You guys know, I want to explain something real quick. The Streets of Indian Lake, 400 acres total. The city of Henderson was basically built on third-acre lots. So take 3 lots per acre times 400. Somebody in the back, 2516, where you at? What's 400 acres times 3? 1,200 homes. So when the Planning Commission entitled the Streets of Indian Lake, the thought process was we'll have 600 rentals, 600 owner-occupied, and then we'll entitle that development to a couple million square feet of office, a couple million square feet of retail. Danny Hale did a phenomenal job of walking that through its pace. There have been 600 apartments approved out there and 600 homes approved out there since '06, since the development of that project. We've got two sets of apartments that have been built out there. One of them is Aventura, and the other one has changed names to Husqvarna, some kind of chainsaw. What is it? Cantar. There's 94 units available left out there for residential. What Tennessee Home Sites did is submitted a boutique hotel to take the last 94 rental units out there. But they also submitted 120 owner-occupied units. So that'll be called Ashcrest or some new flavor of Ashcrest. That's going to be phenomenal for that center out there. That's supposed to be a walkable community where you can get out and walk on the Indian Lake Greenway that Dan Hale developed. It's so beautiful. Walk to the library, walk to the movie theater. You're going to see some folks move in that aren't the standard, really aren't what some people have in their minds of apartment owners. It's people that want to downsize, don't want any maintenance, don't want to, if the toilet stops up, they want to be able to call management. That might be me, actually. But you'd be surprised at who has started standing up lately for that. That development is moving along just as planned, and doing very well. Another question?
Just a more curious question, because everything sounds great that you've been talking about. And a lot of times what I think about is people's first impression when they come to town, and what they see is what they get. And I think of West Main Street and a lot of what's going on there. And one thing, for example, that I've noticed more in the evening is these little lights going up around these windows on vapor shops and markets, and making us look not as desirable, I'm going to say, in my opinion.
All right, did you hear what he said? The little LED lights that are up on the vapor shops. If you can't smoke tobacco to be a poison, it's more poisonous and more straightforward. The tobacco stores are the worst. The convenience stores are getting bad. We've actually got a policy in place to get those out. Now it's going to take some doing on our part, and it'll take a lot of fussing on their part. But we've got to stop that LED around the window situation. It's a little Las Vegas-y for me, but it doesn't matter what I think. The Planning Commission's actually got a handle on that to the point we're going to move forward with trying to eradicate those things. What else you got? Well, guys, here's your chance to rip my head off. I mean, you've been easy on me. All right, well, all right, Julie, here it comes.
When you talked about Nashville's charted to get 1 million more people,
Yes.
is that the Nashville USA or is that Nashville itself?
It includes us. It's a reason. She asked about the million new people by 2035. As mayors, particularly since Mayor Dean got elected mayor, he's the 800-pound gorilla. We have worked, about 50 of us have worked with him on everything we can think of regionally. We used to compete with Brentwood. We used to compete with Franklin. Matter of fact, we used to compete with Gallatin and Portland. We don't do that anymore. If we're going to be successful as a region, we've got to think regionally. If we're going to take on the Austin, Texas, and the Charlotte, North Carolinas, and those types of folks that we compete with. And we made great strides on that. But I told you this last year. I want you to think about it this year. If we do not do something about our transportation platform, we are doomed. Immobile society stagnates. And we've got one of the worst commutes in the nation from Hendersonville to Nashville and from Bridgemill to Nashville. And we have got to begin to think more open-minded about regionally, how do we handle transportation? Now, my solution would be we just build a couple of 6-story high-rises here in town, everybody work here. Or, we restrike 386 and 65 to about 5 foot wide and everybody ride a moped. Because we honestly can't continue to build roads. It's not working. If they've added a lane to the bypass both ways today, which they need to, it'd still operate at a level of service of F at the peak hours. So adding lanes doesn't solve our problem. As a matter of fact, we're out to the edges. The next widening of 65, they'll be buying houses. And you can imagine how long that's going to take. So just open your mind when you hear things like the AMP. AMP doesn't sound like a big deal to us. But if I had a light rail that ran from Saundersville Road to downtown Nashville, once you got there, what would you do? You walk 20 miles out west end to Vanderbilt? That's not going to work. That AMP project actually has regional significance to all of us. Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Franklin. If we don't rethink the way we do that, if we stay doing what we're doing today, the commute from my city hall, 19 miles to Nashville City Hall, is 55 minutes right now at rush hour. 19 miles, 55 minutes. Add 1 million people and see where we go. So that's one of the things that, as a region, we have to get a hold of that. Michael?
When you going to entertain a resolution to limit citizens' comments at bowling meetings to agenda items?
Did you hear that question? You can come talk at my city meeting for 5 minutes about anything. About your mother's apple pie recipe, about why you got pulled over when you were doing 112 on New Shackle Island Road. You name it, you come talk about it. When we talk about limiting citizens' comments to agenda items only, I've got a board that's here for a business meeting. Let's talk about agenda items only. The constitutionalists come out and say you're hampering our freedom of speech. It's a tough road to hoe, but I would love to revisit that and have a conversation about it. If you're going to come speak at our meeting, please talk about something we're about to do business on. All right, we can't end on that. Somebody's got to have something good, better. Y'all, you've seen the comedy show that we run on Channel 3. Now you do know there's 251 other channels, right? You don't have to stay on Channel 3. One more good question. All right, I'm going to do it for Jamie Steele. Jamie, I told you he's about to retire. I want you guys to all congratulate him. You're going to see, go ahead. Absolutely the best of the best. He's helped me grow. He's helped us grow a couple extra fire halls. He's brought in $7 million worth of grants to make sure you've got the latest and greatest fire protection. We just received a $1.2 million fire truck, another one. We're expanding Fire Hall 5 over by the new expanded Hendersonville Medical Center. We're going to put a new bay over there, and that's your tax dollars at work. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you guys so much.
I think my husband is pretty awesome. So proud. I'm a little biased. Thank y'all so much for being here, and thank you to the city employees. Y'all do an amazing job, and I know it's not always fun. And Dana, I will just say your tweets are my favorite. So if you don't follow her, you might want to follow her too. But there is so much great going on in our community. So please be sure and thank all of the employees that are here. And then if you see them or if you're at City Hall for anything, please be sure and recognize them and thank them for the hard work they do. We do have a couple of announcements very quickly. I am going to introduce our speaker that's going to come up next, who is our sponsor today. We were so excited to have just one sponsor. You know, normally we have display tables. We wanted to just have one group come up today, and we were so thrilled to have Capstar Bank. And Jay, I'm going to invite you up to say a couple of words.
I'll be very quick as well. I just want to say thank you to the Chamber, Mayor Foster. Glad to sponsor this luncheon today. Obviously, Capstar had a pretty good vision of being in Sumner County as well just under 2 years ago when we decided to come here in both Hendersonville and Gallatin. I'd like to recognize our Hendersonville branch manager, Laura Dye, if you'll stand up. And our Gallatin branch manager, Jason Kotler. The other person I'd like to recognize, one of the most recent announcements that we've had is the beginning of this year we acquired a mortgage company, Farmington Financial, and Hart Weatherford, who's the president of that division, is here with us today. We're going to do a quick giveaway. We've got 6 cheesecakes. Ben Warner.
Okay, a couple more quick announcements, just some upcoming connection opportunities. Leads Exchange meets every Wednesday at the Chamber office at noon. Jay, were you done?
I'm done.
Are you sure?
Thank you.
Okay. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry. Business After Hours and Member Appreciation is going to take place on May 16th. That is at Rock Castle. That is our annual, y'all know this, beer and brats. So much fun. Don't want to miss that. It is hosted by Bluegrass Beverages, Keystone Business Solutions, and Dr. Bill Taylor. Special cash prizes to be given away, at $250, so you do not want to miss that, and you do want to be present. You have to be present to win. Upcoming promotion opportunities, the Night Among the Stars annual banquet is going to take place on June 14th. Be sure to nominate a large and small business of the year, volunteer of the year as well, and then of course the Ralph G. Hanning Lifetime of Service Award is one that we give away that night that you can nominate people for. The winners will be recognized at that banquet. Support opportunities. The staff will host a free luncheon on May 8th. That is a member orientation. It's hosted by Jet's Pizza, and we want to hear from you to review how the Chamber works for you, and it is reserved for the first 25 members that register. The Preferred Business Directory, we are printing, this is going to be sad for some of you, our last printed Preferred Business Directory. This is your opportunity to have an ad in it. We're very excited over the publication this year. If you're interested in that and you don't receive it with your upper tier level membership, you can definitely see me after the event. We had 2 drawings for Jet's Pizza. That goes to Becky Rogers with Vol State Bank, and Signature Cleaners to Matt Lawson from Comcast Spotlight. And we want to say thank you, of course, to our 2013-14 partners. You can see them right here. But Bluegrass Yacht and Country Club, First State Bank, Hendersonville Medical Center, Hendersonville Star News, Olympian Construction, Sam's Club, and Smith Travel Research. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of the day. And again, just enjoy this amazing city we live in. Thank you.